Welcome to the Back in Time podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Autry, joined by my co-host, Justin DeSandro. JD, how we doing tonight, man?
When the hell have you ever introduced me as that?
A couple times. It's rare, but
it is rare, audience. My birth name is not JD.
When you show up and you're clean shaven and like you have a fresh haircut, sometimes I feel the need to show you a little respect. I mean, I know we don't do that often here, but there you go.
Respect the size of your Johnson really C. Riley video collection.
John C. Riley. Fantastic. Man, I'm looking forward to jumping into this episode with you here. And we apologize I know we were supposed to have another top 5 episode, but sometimes life gets in the way. So we missed one. We're definitely going to make up for it next month. We've already got some pretty cool news. JD, do you want to drop the news that we put up on Twitter today?
Yeah, as of today, and it's on Twitter, but Kyle is potty trained.
Yep. It's exciting.
I mean, no more piss in the bed, no more diapers.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, Taylor Morden, director of The Last Blockbuster, which is streaming on Netflix, has agreed to come on to do an interview with us about his latest movie, which is just tearing up Netflix.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I know that it's a badass, kick-ass watch now movie. Have not dived in yet. Kyle, have you seen it yet?
I did. It's going to take you right back to the 90s. Like, there's so much nostalgia in this documentary, and I think you'll really kind of fall in love with this last blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, and the people that run it, and this community that surrounds it. And it's just it's such a cool story.
Man, I can imagine planning a vacation around going to see and visit The Last Blockbuster. So I'm super excited. There's going to be so much to unpack in this episode.
Well, shout out to our buddy Chris Clues, who literally did that. He's got a hat and everything from visiting The Last Blockbuster, and I'm always super jealous that he got to do that. So,
shout out and Chris Clues, longtime friend, listener, guest, author. His books out there, how 80s movies just shape the way that we live, eat, breathe, and work.
Yep.
So, yeah, shout out Chris. Love you.
Absolutely. And before we kind of dive into teaser trailer here for D3 The Mighty Ducks, I do want to go back to our previous episode. We had a fun guest on, Craig Goldberg, host of Yes Have Some podcast, and he came on and we talked about our top 5 movies from 1996. And I got nothing but rave reviews from having Craig on the show. What'd you think about Craig?
Great guest. I'm so happy that we were able to connect with him. He's got a great show, so check him out. He does it with his wife, correct? And maybe a couple other people?
Yep, his wife and his buddy. It's kind of funny because you're very similar to his other host in the fact that neither of you listen to podcasts and normally have the offbeat take on everything.
Good.
You'll be
man.
Oh, no, I love this. And you'll be no, I hate this. This sucks.
So break the difference between Kyle liking Free Willy and it actually being an awful movie. Kyle not having seen the Super Mario Brothers movie and then bringing and nailing it down and him loving it.
Yeah.
So bring the thunder. There's my doppelganger out there. I love you.
All right. Well, man, let's dive into the reason we're here. So obviously we're talking about D3 The Mighty Ducks. We've covered the original. We covered D2 with Phantom Dark Dave, I believe last year at some point, or maybe late 2018. Everything's kind of running together these days. But man, what's your first memory of watching D3 The Mighty Ducks?
I don't think it was on my radar as a child. So 1996, I would have been 11, 12 years old. I think I caught it on TBS or TNT in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the Mighty Ducks. Let me dive into this. Not something that I saw in theaters, something that I rented as a child, but definitely something that I saw at an age younger than I am now.
Yeah, I vividly remember seeing D2 in theaters. I think I was maybe a little too young for the original Mighty Ducks, but D2 came around in like 94 and I was 9 years old, and it was just like the perfect time. But I feel like, and I haven't really even looked at the box office numbers yet, but I feel like this movie was kind of like in and out of theaters real quick. And then the goal was like, let's just get it to Blockbuster. Let's get this thing out there and get it rented. We know that's where we're going to make our money. So I feel like there wasn't like that massive push to make it as big as the first two.
Well, and even so, I wonder if I would love to be a part of the conversations that went into the release of this movie, because it seems direct to VHS.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does. And we'll talk all about that on the episode where we feel like this one maybe comes up a little short compared to its predecessors. But I mean, it's still enjoyable. I'm pretty much done with my notes for the movie now. And I mean, there's parts that I laugh at. There's some parts that I cringe at. But like ultimately, like in the end, like it's still Mighty Ducks. And I still get excited like when the good guys come out on top. And I mean, they just kind of revisit stuff from the first two movies, so it's repetitive in some parts.
So let's spend a minute now. I haven't watched it. I know you have. I've seen your feedback and response to Game Changers.
Yes.
So let the audience know, if they're not on the gravy train yet, am I missing out? You
are. This is very similar to Karate Kid. The way that they're setting it up with the Cobra Kai series, it's you're getting to know the new Ducks, but you're getting a lot of backstory. And then slowly Bombay kind of makes his way into this first episode, and they don't give too much away, but it's either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go so far left where they kind of phase out the original cast, which I think would be a massive mistake on their end, or they're going to start to phase them in, and we're going to have that Cobra Kai feel to it, and it's going to be a big hit. But I thought episode 1 was super solid.
So what, we're on a Friday rotation with that on Disney Plus?
Yep, once a week.
Okay. So as long as Joshua Jackson is busy and Charlie Conway never shows his face, I'm fine.
Season 2, I'm told.
Really?
Season 2, got the inside track. The only reason he wasn't in this first season here is because scheduling, because of COVID, and like you have to do the testing and then quarantine, and like logistically, like it just couldn't work for him to do on 2 different shows. But he definitely wants to be on it. And I will tell you this, the door is 100% open for Goldberg to make his return. There is a kid that looks very similar to him, which they haven't mentioned a dad. They haven't mentioned a last name for him. But he certainly looks like a young, portly Italian kid. So, and he's the goalie. So I think, Ixnay on the X-lay there, Chet, but they're laying it on pretty thick.
Good stuff. I will watch the first episode this week.
Okay.
I know I will. I'm just recently caught up on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so I'm a few days behind. It's been a busy weekend, but I'm looking forward to watching it. I definitely want to make some scrambled eggs with that. Okay.
Well, speaking of watching, why don't we go ahead and pull up the original trailer for Mighty Ducks 3, and let's watch this thing and give our reaction.
Hell yeah.
Since its inception, Eden Hall Academy has taken great pride in its tradition of excellence.
And so today, we proudly open our doors via full scholarships to a truly gifted group of student athletes.
Hi, we're the Ducks.
How much do you already hate him with that one line?
Hi, we're the Ducks. Okay, puberty much, Charlie? Calm down.
Okay, not a whole lot going on yet in the trailer. Let's see. Let's get to the second act of it here. I do like the voiceover guy, though. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to be your coach this year, Charlie.
They've got a new coach.
What's the one thing all great teams have in common?
Great coaching.
Don't try to suck up to me, Averman.
They've got a new school.
Every Monday, you'll have a practice quiz. And anytime I feel like it, you'll have a surprise exam.
But it's the same old Duck attitude.
I'm a goalie, not a skater! Same old Ducks.
My dad said I better stay in on scholarship or he whipped my butt.
All right, so pausing it here for a second. They're laying it on pretty thick here with kind of repeating same old Ducks, same old Ducks. Hey, Charlie, they're the same old Ducks. Why do you think they're doing that's like their through line here through this trailer?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the only redeeming factor is that it's the same old Ducks. And instead of a fish out of water, we have a duck out of water situation where you're taking them and from a writing and filmmaking standpoint, taking an existing property and dropping them in a new situation. And it's boring as hell.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're already kind of making an excuse on why Bombay's not as heavily involved in this movie. But let's keep on going.
I mean, just real quick. I mean, that's to an extent, that's from a storytelling standpoint, fine.
Yeah.
Why would this ex-lawyer, DUI, alcoholic, panty sniffing piece of nothing be involved with these children as they're in private school? Realistically, why? Why is he in it at all?
That's an interesting take. I kind of agree.
Well, as a former panty sniffer yourself, let's cue up the next part.
We're the new hockey team, and you are...
Varsity, the only hockey team.
Just wait till we hit the ice, then they get to see the real Mighty Ducks.
I don't like you, Pukes.
Who took my clothes? Oh, man. We gotta respond. Ever see what liquid nitrogen does to your clothes?
Ducks. The Ducks are dead.
You're breaking up the best thing any of us ever had.
It's time to grow up.
JV varsity games on Friday. Then we'll show the whole school what a joke you really are.
I want a piece of these guys.
This fall.
Okay, now it's starting to build. I'm kind of getting excited. It feels like D2 all over again. Oh, I feel like you're not on the same page, though.
Okay, so I'm glad that you specifically mentioned the D2 comparisons because, yes, they are the underdogs. The Mighty Ducks have always been the underdogs. Kyle, you played sports your entire life.
I rode the Pine Pony, yeah.
Your freshman year, say high school, college, would you put money down on yourself in your freshman class going against varsity?
No.
And 14 years old, like, I didn't even have pubes yet.
You didn't tell him about my pubes, did you?
I mean, realistically, and in a combative impact sport like hockey,
they should get destroyed. 100%.
Doesn't matter how great you think you are, Charlie, or how much BJ's your mom gave to your old Little League coach.
Whoa, okay.
Oops, we're live.
Team on ice is learning there's more to playing the game
It's not just about hockey.
than they ever imagined.
We need to beat the varsity so the board could take away your scholarships.
Don't be careless, but don't be too careful either.
I told him that you were the heart of the team.
You cannot be afraid to lose.
You know we're gonna hurt you.
Bring it on.
D3, the Mighty Ducks.
Quack, quack.
There we go. So that is the trailer for D3. That is a chicken sandwich, and I will take that off the stream. But but yeah, man, I overall I think it's a pretty good trailer. Like I'm putting myself in my 11-year-old sneakers, and I'm thinking, like, would I want to be watching this in the theater? I probably would have gone. If somebody would have said, like, hey, do you want to go watch D3? And I would have been like, yeah, man, let's go see it.
Well, the one thing that I'll say is I was never, and I know I've mentioned the first episode that we did for the original. And
hold on, you're freezing up a second.
I'm back.
There you go. Now you're back. So go ahead.
check out Phantom Dark Dave's podcast. What's it called? He's got a couple of them now going on, but he was joined us for the sequel.
Podcast from another room. I mean, world.
There it is. So I'm just saying, I was never the biggest hockey fan. So
Right.
as I grew older, I had little interest. I was more into baseball. So if there was a Major League 3, oh my gosh, there is a Major League 3. We have to do Major League 2 and then okay.
We do need to do Major League 2. That is definitely on the list.
But it's a good trailer. It's a good trailer. I just was never the biggest hockey person.
Okay. Yeah, I never really got into hockey, but I will tell you after D2 came out, I did play street hockey on rollerblades, and we did that for a couple years, and I really actually enjoyed rollerblading. It was just my feet were growing so fast because I was a big kid. It was like my parents couldn't keep a pair of skates on me long enough, and it was just like, all right, hey, we don't want to buy you anymore.
Kyle,
and that was it.
Kyle, now let me ask you a query. What's the most difficult part about roller skating?
But I would say falling down. I don't like to fall down.
I'll tell you this much. I'm not going to give you the answer now, but I'll give it to you offline because I don't want to get canceled.
Oh, yikes. Gotcha. I will tell you this. There's going to be a special, I don't want to say a special guest, but a special item that I purchased especially for the full review, which we're going to be recording tomorrow night. I think you're going to be both excited to see it and also very pissed off.
It's a Mighty Ducks shaped dildo.
No, you're close. You're close. It is Mighty Ducks something, but maybe shaped more like something you would put on your body. And the name on the back is going to make you quite angry. But yeah, I don't want to give too much away, and you guys are going to have to watch the video to see exactly what it is. But yeah, we will definitely get into that. So let's talk some box office numbers, man. So this movie came out October 4th of 1996. It was sent into over 2,000 screens or theaters and spent just 89 days in its release. Was kind of a short release, so I was actually right on that part. The budget for the movie, kind of undisclosed. I know the original had a $10 million budget, but financials on D3 are kind of tough to find on the budget side of it. But I would just assume probably maybe slightly higher than the first one. Would you say, JD? I mean, typically guys get raises as they kind of go on, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that being the case, but again, everything about this movie feels straight to VHS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we don't have a lot there, but let's talk about box office here. First week, October 4th, 1996. Let's see what kind of competition Mighty Ducks is dealing with here. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can follow along with us here. So competition pretty steep here. So the top movie that week was The First Wives Club. And then you can see Mighty Ducks does pretty well here right off the gate. We're looking at a $6.1 million opening. They were ranked number 4. In week 2, it would drop 2 spots to number 6, bringing in another $4 million over the weekend. So we're looking at a total of $11.2 million 10 days in. So JD, obviously, with me sharing the screen, we can see obviously there is no schoolyard effect here, but are you surprised at all to see 4 weeks and out?
No, not really at all. Again, I don't think I knew that there was a third movie until much later in life.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, you can see the movie just kind of drops after 3 weeks all the way down to 10 and then down to just a couple theaters for a few more weeks after that. So the magic of the Mighty Ducks did not strike 3 times, but hopefully it'll strike a 4th time with the series on Disney Plus. But now let's talk about the top 10 movies of the week. So yeah, I mentioned The First Wives Club was number 1 that week. Number 2 was Glimmer Man. I don't remember that one. I'd have to look that one up. 3, That Thing You Do, one of our favorite movies, future episode. Number 4, D3 The Mighty Ducks. Number 5, Extreme Measures. Number 6, 2 Days in the Valley. 7 was Last Man Standing. Number 8, Fly Away Home. Number 9, Independence Day, still going strong, 14 weeks into its release. It was just under 300 million at that point. Pretty impressive. And then Big Night rounded out the top 10. But yeah, what do you think about our top 10? I mean, this actually feels like, if I could travel back in time, I actually wouldn't mind checking this movie theater out with all these great movies.
It's interesting to see that Thing You Do was in week 1 competing against D3. And if you look at that total gross, That Thing You Do just barely edged it out in less theaters. But I mean, that's an iconic movie.
Yeah. I mean, both of them looks like D3 made 22 million, just over. That Thing You did 25. Wow, that surprises me. Yeah, I would have thought That Thing You Do would have had some staying power.
I would agree with you. I'm kind of surprised that I remember Glimmerman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. First Wife's Club was with like Jane Fonda or something, right?
Gotta be. Let's see here. First Wives Club. Oh, gotta be a member. Let's see if I can read it though. Diane Keaton, Goldie Hawn, Bette Midler.
Yeah, so it was a very, very, very targeted audience for that movie, and they came out. So good for them.
Glimmerman, Steven Seagal.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
And he was tough to defeat in the 90s.
Yeah, that's probably an episode for The Angry Dad. Bring him on for some Seagal.
We haven't done a Seagal movie yet, have we?
No, we sure haven't.
Oh my gosh, audience, shout out to you. What Seagal movie should we do first?
Under Siege. I was always I'm a part 2 guy. I agree with you. Do we just go straight to part 2 and skip the first one?
We didn't do that with Speed.
I don't think we've really done like a solo Wesley Snipes movie either. So maybe some Passenger 57 in our future, or a little Blade down the road.
Okay.
All right. So not a ton on the box office side here. And then if you were curious to how did D3 stack up against the first 2 movies here, I'll give you a quick screenshot of kind of what that looks like. So D3 is here in the yellow, D2 is in the red, the original in the blue here. So actually it looks like Mighty Ducks was the highest grossing out of all the movies, but D2 had the biggest opening weekend. D3 pretty much had the same opening weekend as the original. It just didn't have the staying power.
Yeah, well, the schoolyard effect is a real thing.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, definitely wasn't as good, but I mean, you can't argue though. 3 movies, 119 million, just in domestic numbers, not too bad.
That's a legacy,
especially if they're producing them at that same $10 million. So, not too bad. Now, let's talk a little bit about the critic response to the film. JD, we'll use Rotten Tomatoes to kind of gauge it. And how do you feel? And give me your thoughts first, the number second. How do you feel like critics received D3 The Mighty Ducks?
Got it. Ready. Not well.
Okay.
I feel like essentially critics thought that they went to McDonald's, they ordered a Big Mac, a double cheeseburger, and a quarter pounder with cheese. Okay. And at the end of the day, each one of those burgers tastes exactly the same.
All right.
And, maybe the Big Mac was number 1, the quarter pounder was part 3, they got a cheeseburger. And not hungry, but unsatisfied.
Okay.
That's what I think. And I'm going to throw a number. I'm going to do Big Bad Billy Lawrence and say 35.
35. They probably would have been pretty happy with 35. So we are looking at a 20% on the tomato meter. Not real solid. And the audience score wasn't terrific either. We're looking at 45%. So, yeah, not the best here.
Time out real quick. If you look under, you might also like.
I know.
First of all, Big Green with a 0.
How is that even possible? Big Green is fantastic.
And then we're looking at Jack Frost with Michael Keaton at 1 point lower.
Mm-hmm.
Then Air Bud Golden Receiver at 1 point higher.
Can I tell you a little personal story? Baby's Day Out, which is right here. I was actually at the filming of Baby's Day Out on a field trip at the Chicago Zoo.
That's exciting. What's Lincoln Park or Brookfield?
I don't remember. I was pretty young when it came out, but the only thing I remember from the trip is my dad was a chaperone, and he was the one that had told me that Baby's Day Out there, and he said that Joe Montana was there, and I thought he said Joe Montana, and I was really excited. And that's not a joke from a different movie. I legitimately thought Joe Montana was there, so I was like looking around. I'm like, where's the quarterback at? Like trying to find this guy.
With his butt chin.
Right.
No, that's a cool story. Yeah, Baby's Day Out is a failure of a movie.
Oh, sure is.
I've seen it, didn't realize it was Chicago-based, and I'm guessing it was Lincoln Park because that's the free zoo.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely fact check that before we get done here. But let's hear from the critics. There's not a lot to report here. There's really only one solid review, and it's going to come from old Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, who gave the film 1 out of 4 stars and said, "The Mighty Ducks, Minnesota's underdog kid hockey team, are back again in a third version of more or less the same story." I can't argue with them.
It's the same burger. It's just a different sauce.
Oh, should have went with Ed's secret sauce. It would
Future episode.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
I actually did. It was uncommissioned, but I did an art piece for Good Burger of like a poster, like a minimalistic poster. So if we do that episode, we'll definitely share that, and you can buy it from our store.
That'd be awesome. Now, real quick, just so we can see how D3 kind of lined up with the originals. Mighty Ducks, the original, only a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's very surprising. And then if we look at D2, the Mighty Ducks, kind of more of the same here, JD, another 20%er. So we've done this twice now, and I think we've been shocked all on those two, and then now today. Now, here's something I think you'll be excited about, and this might give you more reason to go watch Game Changers, but check this out. Mighty Ducks Game Changers, 86%. On the tomato meter, 95 from the audience.
Okay, I'm very wary because the amount of professional reviewers is higher.
Right.
What we had 6 on for D3 reviews?
Yeah, and only one of them actually had words. So
I am excited. I know it'll be good. I love the comparisons that you make to Cobra Kai because that that tickles my pickle in ways that you don't even know.
Yeah, I do. What?
Good man.
All right. Well, and what are you looking forward to most when we dive into D3 here in less than 24 hours?
I'm looking forward to Charlie Conway's locker getting pissed into.
Okay. Not sure they piss in it, but they definitely do some stuff to his locker. And I hope you watch it tonight and you enjoy the movie minus Charlie. And I mean, it's the same old Ducks, man. You got Averman cracking jokes. You got Goldberg eating everything in sight. You've got Dwayne with his hockey puck tricks. Luis is going after the girls. Like, come on. Like, what else do you want from a Mighty Ducks movie?
I would say Mighty Ducks 2 and call it a day.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast here, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, right here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Make sure you sit here and watch it. Look at our faces, man. Like, a lot goes into this. JD's kind of cross-eyed at times. Yeah, screen freezes up, but I mean, for the most part, like, I mean, we put a lot of effort into this. So check out the video version. But thank you guys for listening, and we will be back in just a couple days. See ya.
Hiya.